Hey, so before we get started on today's video, I want to give a quick shout out to all the new subscribers. I have a goal of reaching 1,000 new subscribers by the end of 2023. So if you're enjoying the videos, send your boy some love. Subscribe to the channel. Now let's get into it. Recently, Kyrie Irving has been in the news for retweeting a documentary called Hebrews to Negroes. Now, full disclosure, I haven't personally seen this film, but from what I understand, the reason the Jewish people took issue with this film is because it claims that the original Hebrews mentioned in the Bible were black and not predominantly white as we see them today. Now, personally, I don't understand why this is such a controversial statement. I think that there's plenty of evidence within the Bible, within the books of the Bible, that show that the original Hebrews were, in fact, black. It's not until the New Testament when Paul goes to the Romans, the book of Romans and the Corinthians, and begins to spread the message of the gospel that I think Europeans began to convert to Judaism. But if we look at scriptures, such as in the book of Revelations, where even the Christ is described as black, his feet were the color of bronze. Does anyone know what color bronze is? Read. Turned around to see the voice that was speaking to me. And when I turned, I saw 7 golden lampstands. And among the lampstands was someone like a son of man, dressed in a robe, reaching down to his feet, and with a golden sash around his chest. The hair on his head was white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were like blazing fire. His feet were like bronze, glowing in a furnace, and his voice was like the sound of rushing waters. Revelations chapter 1, verse 12 through 15. Even in the Vatican, we see evidence that popes are bowing down and worshiping an image of a black Christ. I don't think that it's very controversial to say that the original Hebrews were in fact black. So why is it that Kyrie Irving was canceled? Not even for outright saying that the original Hebrews were black, not saying that the white Jewish people we see today aren't really Jewish, because even though they converted years ago, that would not disqualify them from practicing Judaism. He was canceled for retweeting a documentary which was aimed at awakening the black masses. And this seems to be a serious problem today. A lot of black people are being canceled for waking up and speaking what seems to be the truth, awakening their people to knowledge of self. And that brings me to Kevin Hart. Recently, Kevin Hart has made headlines. There's a growing movement to cancel Kevin, who has recently announced that he will be performing a show in Cairo, Egypt. The reason that they want to cancel him might be surprising. Check out this article. Headline show: calls to cancel Kevin Hart's comedy show in Egypt over Afrocentric views. Wow, canceling him over Afrocentric views? Let's get into it. Calls are growing in Egypt to cancel the upcoming stand-up show in Cairo by U.S. comedy star Kevin Hart over his past comments in support of Afrocentrism on ancient Egypt, which has angered many in the country. Now, I know what you might be wondering. What could Kevin Hart have said that would anger people in Egypt? Well, here's his comment. Hart is once said to have stated, "We must teach our children the true history of black Africans when they were kings in Egypt, and not just the era of slavery that is cemented by education in America. Do you remember the time when we were kings?" Again, this seems to be a relatively benign and harmless statement to make. The problem is the people in Egypt, the current political leadership, is mostly made up of Arab descent. The Arabs who are in power in Egypt today do not want black Africans, whether they be in America or black Africans even living in Egypt, to realize and remember the fact that they were once in power and they were once in control of Egypt. They don't want the black people to know that who really built the pyramids was not the Arabs, but was the black people themselves. So even a simple statement like, remember the time when we were kings, has now received such backlash to the fact, or to the point where an entire country is calling for a boycott and cancellation of a modern superstar. There's a recurring theme here that is trying to prevent the black masses from remembering their times of greatness. Now, the only argument being made by the Arab invaders, the Arabs who are in power in Egypt today, is the idea that Arabs have always ruled Egypt and Egypt is not a part of Africa. Now, we can just look at a map and understand that Egypt is indeed a part of Africa. But for a historical account, let's go back to the Bible once more. And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeareth to Joseph in a dream, saying, Arise, and take the young child and his mother, and flee into Egypt, and be thou there until I bring thee word. For Herod will seek the young child to destroy him. When he arose, he took the young child and his mother by night, and departed into Egypt, and was there until the death of Herod, that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken of the Lord by the prophet, saying, Out of Egypt I have called my son. Matthew chapter 2, verse 13 through 15. We've already established the fact that Christ was black. We can see that in the book of Revelations. So put yourself in Joseph's shoes. You get a call from an angel who's saying that the king, Herod, is going to kill your son, so you need to go to Egypt. Why Egypt? If Christ was, let's say he was what we see as the modern day white Jews. If he was a white Jew, why wouldn't he go to Rome? Why wouldn't he go to a place populated by paler skinned people? Why would he go to Egypt, a place populated heavily by black skinned people? If he's going to hide in Egypt, wouldn't it make sense to go to a place where the people look like you? So if Christ was black, that would explain why he went to Egypt, where he can blend in. The people in Egypt were black. Christ was black, making Egypt the perfect place to hide. But hey, that's just what I think. Tell me if I'm wrong. Leave it in the comments section. If you enjoy the videos, be sure to hit the like button. And you know my goal, 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So help a brother out. Hit that subscribe button and hit the bell so you get a notification every time I drop a video. I release one every day. Peace. Appreciate you all.